So after 8 whole years, Dead by Daylight finally gets a brand new game mode, and it's limited time for 1 week. Well, I won't start by being a downer, so let me talk about some of the things I do like. First off is the lighting. I know it's a weird thing because you can't even see much, but on some maps like Borgo or other maps that aren't dark at all, seeing everything in a darker, nighttime scary tone makes it feel much more aesthetically pleasing and feels really nice. Maybe it's just because it's in a different lighting, I like it more, it's just a simple change of scenery, but I think the maps look better in the darkness rather than daylight, like, Farm, Dead Dog, Borgo, etc. Because, it is a horror game. Having a dark nighttime setting is infinitely more interesting and fitting for the game than, say, Ormond's bright winter morning setting. Secondly is how in-depth they went with removing things. Usually though, when you hear removing things, you think it's a bad thing, and I honestly expected more to be in, but no. The only thing that remains are just the ores for generators, for the gates, and hooked survivors, for the killer, and basically everything else is removed for the survivors. The HUDs showing survivor actions, your own action progress, etc, etc. All of it is just gone. The only thing you can see is what's around you and the survivor's health states. Along with that is them completely removing lullabies, which I feel is amazing because I originally thought, oh well, even if a killer like Huntress or Sadako has no more terror radius, they still have the lullaby, which will give them away, but nope, everyone is completely dead silent. This makes a lot of killers way stronger paired with, only being able to see a couple of feet around you. Killers like Bubba or Wesker are insanely good in this mode due to their weakness being that they have a large terror radius, or as soon as you hear them coming, you instantly just hold W and run away. But of course in this game mode, no way to tell when they're coming. But on the other hand, for survivors, it's good. The only thing they can leave behind is blood trails when injured, so no scratch marks, meaning that killers need to listen and watch the ground more, which is a positive and a negative. Next is the removal of perks. After 8 whole years of dealing with meta perks and stuff, it honestly feels so refreshing to not have to worry about it anymore. No pop, no pain res, no dead hards, no off the record, nothing. You just hit people without any worries. It's such a strangely calm feeling not having to worry about any BS or second chance perks or, getting the gen blocked for 30 seconds. Nope, you just chase, you run around and loop, and it's just so fun, and no 4 the people buckle up, no dead hard or anything like that. It just feels so calming and nice. Of course, this also applies to add-ons, which makes some killers feel really bad. This mode is super fun, but it of course has its own set of issues. First off is that with no scratch marks, chasing survivors can at times just be downright impossible. On some maps like maybe Ormond or Borgo or anything like that, not being able to easily see them or easily follow them makes it hard as hell to actually track survivors. For some killers with decent tracking like maybe Skull Merchant, it's passable, but some killers just get hardcore shut down. For killers who rely on scratch marks or sound like Knight or Spirit, it becomes a lot harder to track someone down, when as soon as you hit them and they get their speed boost, they completely vanish into the night without a trace. And if you're on a map with lots of grass, you can't even really track the blood trail, so it's always just a guess of which way they went. Next is that since no killer has a terror radius, some killers are just outright horrible like Doctor or Legion. By not having a terror radius, your power doesn't do anything. And I assume this, I haven't actually tested it, but I'm not really going to play them and wait in queue for 3 minutes to test this because, I don't want to waste my time playing as a shitty M1 killer. And any killer who can't keep up with survivors and are slower like say Tag, you're just kinda screwed. Projectile killers are also in a rough spot due to them not being able to snipe as well like Artists or Hunters, because you can't really predict them at all and there's no perks or add-ons to assist you. Chasing feels incredibly difficult or impossible in this game mode, and it often results in tunneling and camping, since you know where one person is, and that person has no dead hard, off the record, decides to strike, or any second chance perks, nothing to save them, making them an incredibly easy target. And finally, on to things outside of the game mode itself, and that's, well, how the game mode has been handled. When Behavior first gave out the list of suggested game mode, this one was objectively the easiest one to implement. Remove HUD elements, apply Dredge's Nightfall, make everyone undetectable, and make it so that no perks or add-ons can be used. Boom, you're done. Now I will play devil's advocate here, and that is that this game probably is just not built to handle a big game mode such as Survivors in first person, or Giant Killers, or the long-awaited 2 versus 8 mode, because, well, as we all know, Dead by Daylight has fucking shitty-ass spaghetti code. I mean, Night was just enabled after a whole damn month of being disabled. This game needs a restructuring from the base level. This game mode was definitely something that was just slapped together, something simple so it's not a lot of work wasted, just to see how the game handles it, see how the player base handles it, and you know what? That's fine. To be completely honest and completely fair, this game mode is not horrible at all. It is nothing bad, though sadly at the same time, it is the very definition of mid. There is just nothing really groundbreaking or super interesting going for it. And again, that's fine. This is the first ever game mode. But then again, on the other hand, this is kind of a punch in the gut for longtime players like myself who've been playing this game since the first year that the game came out. And what do we get? Just a little cobbled together game mode when we've been asking for 8 years for a 2 versus 8 mode. It just really kind of sucks. Again, this is definitely more of a field test than an actual new dedicated mode sort of thing, and it feels like it, considering they reworked the UI and had to make a new queue, which again, never been done before in this game. So, you know, banking on that it actually works when it launches is a huge gamble, and I mean, hey, it paid out. It paid off, so here's hoping for the future. But now onto the 2 truly horrible things that are just downright not excusable. First off is the fact that this limited time game mode is only 1 week. 1 week! Like, I could understand 2 weeks or 3 weeks, because that's how long most other game modes are, like Halloween or Christmas events. I get that I said it's a very mid mode, nothing impressive technologically, but 1 week? I mean, I guess it is fair, you know, it's just a nightfall filter and no perks, so it's not really anything that'll have a lot of depth to it, you know, I'm not really gonna see myself begging for this thing back in a month. But still, 1 whole week just doesn't feel fair, doesn't feel right. And then secondly is the fact that you can't play custom games with it. This is by far the biggest flaw ever. This is also an issue when events are around. For some reason, you just can't do it in custom games, but come on, not being able to play the new game mode with your friends, getting 4 friends together to play it and be like, oh hey, let's play this game, just isn't fair. So let me give some constructive criticism and what I would do, because in all honesty, I see this mode and future modes working out super well for Dead by Daylight and will change the game forever. First off, if they want to have multiple game modes, make it so the special ones like Lights Out rotates daily, so they can keep all the game modes in the game while keeping it somewhat fresh with something different to do every day, or even make it weekly, I guess. This will make it so it's not just, oh hey look, it's this game mode again, I won't play it, but you know, every day you come back and be like, oh maybe I want to play this one, maybe I want to play that one, something like that to keep players wanting to come back and see what else they can play. Second, and this one is obvious, let us play in private custom games. This one is not excusable considering how many games allow stuff like this, like Overwatch or Gmod, Left 4 Dead, stuff like that. Being able to host the special fun game modes with friends would make this game so much better and easier to sell, because hey, who wouldn't want to play the goofy modes with your friends or set up a party for 5 people or more to play? And finally, make a server list for custom games. This one would be implemented last, and I see this as a solution to when we have too many game modes, if, you know, we get that. Like in, say, TF2, Gmod, Overwatch, you can go through a server list and see who's hosting what. Oh, hey, this guy's hosting the zombie mode? Sure, I'll join that. Oh, I want to play some of the tag mode this time. I'll join that server. I feel like playing the Lights Out game mode, so I'll join this guy. This one wouldn't need to be implemented until there are, say, 5 or more game modes, because if the special mode is rotating constantly, then it would be manageable. But after that many, that's when players will need the option to be able to pick what they want to play. Also, make it so that players can modify the game modes. More movement speed, bigger vision radius for stuff like Lights Out, a shorter timer on, say, the tag mode, etc, etc. Give the players the ability to make choices like that for the freedom of the game modes, and many players will want to play the game. A lot of people will be interested in that. If you give the players tools to make your game more interesting and more replayable, lots more people will play it. If you say, hey, we're going to give you the option to make these game modes better, you know, make it how you want to play, so many more people will want to play this instead of, you know, the same game we've had for 8 whole years. And before anyone tries to say Dead by Daylight doesn't have the player base for it, or it'll make the queue times worse, this game has more players than Overwatch, Gmod, Left 4 Dead, and Ark, games known for their server list and big things like this. So if you say that for even a second and believe that Dead by Daylight doesn't have the player base, you're just on copium. You're literally just in denial, and you're just objectively wrong. Plus, Dead by Daylight is a cross-play game on multiple platforms, so you're delusional if you think that Dead by Daylight couldn't handle this. Overall, Lights Out, while being a very mediocre B-tier game mode, it is a big step in the right direction to making the game more fun for everyone. While it does have a lot of glaring issues management-wise, I see a lot of potential for Dead by Daylight and future events like Anniversary or Halloween. If the players are given more freedom with the game modes like in Overwatch or TF2, this game will become so much better and way more playable with friends instead of being the same sweaty grind queue we've had for 8 whole years. And with that, I don't have anything else to say other than take care of yourselves and have a damn good one. Peace.